I hope you're still safe and keeping well, and you've got people to talk to. I will be doing a video at some point about phoning us if you need to talk to anyone. If you find us on Facebook, we're Fizzy5 Yahoo, I think. Go on to Messenger, and there's a phone number where you can either phone or video chat anytime. We're always around, and we like to talk to people, and if we can do anything to help or just chat, or so feel free to give us a call. Tonight I was going to talk about bedtime routines, because I know quite a lot of people struggle with bedtimes. I've struggled a lot in the past, and finally getting out of the struggle, I would say. It was consistency, and eventually the children realising that that was bedtime. It's important that you get the routine that's right for you, because everybody is different, every child is different. And if you can find the one that's right for you, you are more likely to stick to that, and then the children will know where they stand, and then you will succeed in having a good bedtime routine. I'm going to write down Monty's routine. It's just a rough idea. Most of their bedtime routines are written up. I normally have routines on the fridge or in the bathroom or anything like that. Most of you who have children with ASD, autism, will probably know about visuals, which are basically written up routines to remind them of what's going on, and it really helps. So I'd say the first thing to do is to come up with a routine. You could try a couple of different things over a week, maybe, until you decide the way you want it. I mean, it doesn't matter, you can change it if you try it for a week and it doesn't work. So I would just figure out what works for you. So for me, Monty will have a bath at about 6 o'clock. And then, so we don't watch telly or have technology about an hour before bed. I know that can be tricky. Or an hour before you want them to go to sleep. So normally 6:30 I want Monty to go to sleep. So 5:30 would be TV off. And no more snacks after that. But again, it has to be, because Theo's is different. He goes to bed and he has an apple and some milk. That's his routine. So his routine is different to Monty's because everybody is different. So Monty will go out for a bath at 6 o'clock, have a play, just relax, quite a warm bath. He likes warm baths. And he'll maybe stay in there for about 10 minutes, and then it will be pyjamas and bed. And then I get into bed, I get onto his covers and lie with him, and we will read either one long book, which is something like Julia Donaldson's Scarecrow Wedding. I would say that's a long book. Or two little books, and I would say that's like a Kipper and Chip book. So two of those. But it depends how tired I am, how late it is. If it's all got knocked back a bit, then I might do one small book, but kind of not specify that it's a small book, just say let's read this book tonight, because he's still 5, so he doesn't get the difference. So then we would write that up, and what we would do is make sure that there are pictures. I'm only doing this roughly, so I am sorry about the drawings. So you would, for Monty and Theo, I would have a picture of each stage. and a time, and then they know what the plan is as well. Okay, so we've got that written up. So 5:30, TV off, 6 o'clock, bath, 6, well, sort of PJs and then bed, so sort of 6:15 by about that time. And then one book, one big book or 2 small books. That could be written up any way you like, but it is important that they have pictures. I would say they probably wouldn't need pictures from 10, probably over 10, and you could just use the words, but the pictures are great, and you can get them to help you. They can draw the pictures, so then if Monty helped me with the pictures, he would know the routine and he'd feel more involved with it and more inclined to do it. And it really helps if they help you. So TV, technology, there's all the information about blue light and giving their eyes too much activity and the wrong type of activity before bed. So it should be an hour before you want them to go to sleep that they don't have anything like phones, TVs, iPads, tablets, anything that they have. Then bath is really relaxing and really nice and just a lovely way to wind down, especially ASD children. My cousin told me that she had a friend whose child was having a massive tantrum and would not calm down. Eventually the mum put the child in the bath and the child calmed down. And I now do that, especially towards the end of the day. If they're having a complete meltdown, I will just put them in the bath, and then we can spend a bit of time in my room reading if they're ready earlier for bed. Then bed, pajamas, book, could be There's a Spider in My Hair book, could be whatever book they like at this age. And I will lie with Monty for a minute probably. Then I will say it's bedtime, and then I'll leave. He has the door open, light off, and light off is also important because it means that their brains can really shut down at night and rest. If they have to go to sleep with the light on, it's best if you can turn it off at bedtime or leave a landing light on or something that's not too bright so that they're getting a proper sleep that they need. And I will then aim to stand outside his room for a little bit and check he doesn't get out of bed again, which occasionally he will do. And then I'll just put him back to bed and say it's bedtime. And again, if he gets out of bed again, I just put him back to bed. And it's just sticking to it, continuous. And so it will be the first time it's bedtime, night, I'll put him back to bed. If he gets out of bed again, it will just be bedtime. And then after that, I won't talk to him. I'll just put him back into his bed and just keep going and going and going and going until he will just stay in his bed. I don't stand where he can see me because then he makes that into a game. So it's as if I'm going downstairs. I quite often say, I will come and lie with you in a minute if you lie quietly in your bed. And then I go and walk off and wait for a while, and sometimes he will just fall asleep. And you can, if they have been good, and they have been increasingly bad at bedtimes, and they've been good and they've waited in bed and you go back to check on them in 2 minutes, you could just go and just stand next to them for a minute. If they're still awake, and just put your hand on them. You don't need to talk to them, and then just leave. Again, if they get out of bed again, you say, well, I'll come back again in a little while, but you need to stay in bed and wait for me. But again, then that's too much talking, because then you're giving them too much sensory input. You don't want the sensory inputs. You don't want the talking, eye contact, the lights. But again, every child is different. Every parent is different. So you have to find what works for you. And it will take at least 3 nights if they're particularly bad at going to bed. 3 nights is the minimum, and then it can be up to a week. But once they know that you are consistent, and they can have rewards. Again, I don't tend to do rewards as food. We had a bucket, and I would go to the pound shop and buy loads and loads of stuff, stickers, slime until I banned slime, bouncy balls, party bag things. So little things that are £1 or less, and I would keep them in a box, and then it would be, for younger ones, it has to be pretty instant. So it's, whatever you want them to do, sit down for a meal. If you sit down for 5 minutes, you can then go in the box, because they won't sit down for a whole meal if they're 2, because that's quite a long time. You gradually start it up, 5 minutes, you put on a beeper, the beeper goes off, great, you sat at the table for 5 minutes, now you can go in the box. Then a couple of days of that, 10 minutes, a couple of days of that, half an hour. So you can extend it. It's quite difficult to give the reward for staying in bed, because that's such a long time for little ones. But if they're a bit bigger, then they're starting to understand that, if I stay in bed, I will get a reward. Mine also have pocket money. So the boys, Monty gets 20p if he gets himself dressed in the morning. Theo gets 50p if he can get himself dressed with shoes and socks and pants on, because we've struggled with that for quite a few years now. But he is now incredibly good. And it's not every single day that they get that. But it's for a few days. And once they've got the hang of it, then we kind of use the 50p for something else that they need to do. So it would be putting your coat on the hook when you get home. So you show them where it's meant to go. You walk in the door, they take their coat off, you help them put their coat on the hook, and you say, you can do that tomorrow, and then you can have 20p, or you can go in the box, or whatever you choose to do as your reward. So I would say rewards help with instant things, and you can't take it away. Rewards you can't take away, because that's what you've given them. So if you do choose to use chocolate, which I have been known to do, even though I do try really hard not to, but that's an instant reward, and it's gone. You can't take it away. They can't lose it, so it's like, it's dog training basically. You can do it with grapes and things that aren't sugary. You could do it with pennies and have a jar, and then they just put a penny in every time. You just make sure you have a lot of pennies, or 5p's, and then every time they do something good, here's your 5p, well done, and tell them what they did well, because that's the behaviour you want to reward. I'll go into this a bit more tomorrow, but this is mainly just bedtime routine. I think I've covered everything. Comment down below if you can think of anything else that you would like me to add onto bedtime routine. Again, just try it, figure out what's the best routine for you. I do really recommend baths or showers at night time because they really do help to calm down, and you can put lavender and stuff in the bath if you want. But I do know that some people prefer to do it in the morning, in which case, you know, have a different thing to calm down, you know, just have their quiet time doing Lego or something for half an hour before bed. And then, yeah, don't... my girls are very, very good at razzing the boys up just as I'm about to take them to bed. So try and avoid that if you can, because that's a nightmare, because then you have to calm them down again. That can be tricky. And yeah, so I think that's covered everything. Just make sure you've got the visuals. I will do another video with visuals because you need to add... I can go into a bit more detail about it in a separate video. I hope this helps. Good luck. Keep safe.